Well, let me explain what Vdas will allow you to do. You could take all those funds, and instead of VPM right now is a all-in, all-out strategy with the classic VPM. So when it tells you to sell, we even hate it or we love it. In the case of Vdas, you can decide how much you hate it. So you could say, okay, VPM's issuing a signal here. We want to reduce our exposure to that particular symbol or to that asset class. You're going to be able to also define your sleeves and put multiple symbols within a sleeve and define the overall values of sleeves. So it's basically going to give you the ability to decide what you want to do. So let's say some of those tips were just part of your core strategy. You could tell it not, even if VPM sold it, you could say don't sell it, keep it in there, and I'll make a decision later about that. And you can change any of these values along it. So it's going to give you the ability which to control some of those things, which I think is going to be really, really good. And the only thing that I'm not sure we've got element, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. It'd take you a few minutes to set everything, change everything going forward and change your values. But the beauty of this new system is, and we've run ETFDI and we've run other strategies that we have out to you guys in this. It's really what we call a min-max model. So it gives you the ability to set a min, and the min can be 0 or it could be 50% of the allocation amount. You can also determine your own allocations, where VPM Classic is looking at is a demand on capital model, and the demand on capital is determined by what symbols, how the symbols have flowed over the backtest period, and then when it determines that IAF, it gives you control over that number. So now that you can have these core assets that you want to hold, and you can make those decisions, and in the displays that you'll see, you could actually make one of the sleeves. We give you a meta tag. You could say core holdings, and you could put the symbols in there, and you could see what was in the core holdings and all that. So you'd probably be able to.
This is James Henry in Texas. Is the only place that you're going to have the information on this Vdas, is that at the meeting, or are you going to have some kind of a webinar like this with regard to Vdas?
We will have an announcement meeting. We will do some things around that. But the conference is going to give us the opportunity to have lots of hours and real-time class training to be able to get the job done better, because there's going to be a lot of dynamics, and sort of like some of the things are like, don't try this at home, you can hurt yourself, because there's a lot of things you need to understand about how to utilize this. But it's basically, like I said, it's going to give you folks the ability to control what assets are in and what they're in and what percentage they're in, and you can interact with the VPM signals that are coming out in a much different way than you've had in the past. It's been our way or no way. This way, it's going to be you get to put this thing together exactly how you want your practice to be constructed, and you can also go back and do back tests just like you can on anything else we do. So you could have, if you had a particular MPT model or allocation model that you wanted to look and see how it did, and you knew the changes and the windows of time that it changed, you could actually pick the symbols or the ETFs or whatever you want to do. And this is primarily built for a mutual fund strategy, okay? So mutual fund or ETF, an index strategy, it would be really hard to run a stock portfolio under that, because it almost puts you into a manual mode to a lot, especially when you're taking things in and out. It could be done, but it would be, I think, quite challenging. We have future plans of doing some other types of giving, I guess, some other functionality that will allow you to do more dynamic stuff as it goes. But the Vdas really is giving you folks a way to control what's going on with the models, and there's several things. So we will have a meeting. We will be doing some webinars and training, just like we have the live streams that we have right now. We'll be doing those things. The main focus rollout will be at the conference. So that's going to be the big rollout, because we're going to be focused on getting the things done there, and then after that, then we'll spending the rest of the year. And we're expecting first quarter VPM 3.0 and some other things that'll be out first quarter next year that we will be also going through the same process like what we're doing right now.
This will enable you to not have to have the same allocation for each symbol. In other words, you could have 15% on something and 10 on others, and then also would it allow, if you get a cell signal, then it might allow you to keep 20% of a position or 25% of a position even if you had a cell signal? Is that the kind of flexibility you're looking at here?
That's exactly what it's going to do. That's what it's going to do. It will give you the ability to control how much you allocate in the first place, and then there's going to be a setting that you'll be able to put. So you can automatically say, I want to put 20% in this particular symbol. If it exits, reduce it by 50%. So you do basically you'll reduce it to 10, or you could take it to 5. You could keep, or you can tell it to go to 0 if you want. So the way that we design this, so some asset classes you may see as a more risky area, and you may say, well, if VPM sells out of that, I just want to go to cash. I'd rather have extra cash than to hold any of that. Others might be more of your core structure that you have in your strategy, and so you could say, I don't want to sell any of that. So maybe you have the view that gold's going to $5,000 an ounce. You could have a portion of gold, you could put GLD in there, and it would just be held in there until you told it to do something different. So you'll have control. You could say, I want 5% GLD for the rest of my life, but you could change your mind next year, in May of next year, and reduce it to 0 or change that allocation, and all of that stuff will be able to happen. So I think that's going to be I think it's good. Once again, thanks for your time. We really appreciate everything that your business and your faith in us, and we're going to do whatever it takes to keep us moving forward. So thanks again.